Hi guys, today I'm bringing you another hooded eye tutorial slash video. I got so many requests in the last one that I did to do a bit of a kind of winged out eyeshadow for hooded eyes because so many of you said you were interested in seeing that when I asked, so I thought we could do that today. If you missed my other video, I will link that up in the corner. Basically, it was just like a how I do my eyeshadow for hooded eyes, just doing a very basic, you know, kind of round shape eyeshadow with a transition shade and a deepening shade and a lid shade, and just kind of showing like how and where I place things. So I thought we could basically do the same thing today, but today I want to really wing out my eyeshadow because I feel like it really lifts my eye and it makes my eyes look a little bit less hooded than they are. So that's what we're going to do. Don't feel like you need to have what I'm using to recreate something similar. Don't feel like you need to have the same colors that I'm using. This is really just about the techniques that I use and the kind of variation of depth in the tones that I use. So if you are uncomfortable using colorful shades, which is what I do here on my channel, hi, if you're new, I love using color and that's what I'm going to do today as well. Like I said, if that makes you uncomfortable, use neutrals, use whatever it is that makes you happy. Just kind of follow along when it comes to like the shapes and the placements, because that is really what is important and what's going to make the look what it is, if that makes sense. So for today's video, I'm going to do one eye at a time just so we can kind of compare like when one eye is done and one eye isn't. You will really see like how big of a difference the eyeshadow that you put on your eyes really makes at the end result, and like how it really shapes your face and your eyes. So I'm going to start by priming. I'm going to use my Gerard eyeshadow base. I have mine in the shade Fair. If you do have hooded eyes, I would highly recommend using some kind of an eyeshadow primer because it will just help the shadows go on a lot smoother, and they will also just last better during the day, which is obviously what we want. We don't want our eyeshadow to fade and we don't want our eyeshadows to crease. So for my eyeshadows, I'm going to use a bunch of palettes from Kaleidos just because I haven't played with them in a while and I just kind of want to dip into these again, and I sort of have an idea of what kind of eye look I want to do, and these are just the kind of colors that I want to work with. So I'm going to start with a very basic pink. So if you have a pink, use whatever you have. Like I said, don't have to use what I'm using. And the look that we are going to be creating is going to be this one right here. So it's going to be very dramatic, very winged out, very pinky purpley with a little bit of fun. So I'm excited. We're going to go in with the pink, and this is going to be my transition shade. Now, when it comes to winging out my eye shape, I find that the easiest way to do it is kind of to follow the line underneath my eye up. So that would probably be a good place to start as you want to start on your lower lash line. Usually I start on top because I've just done this so many times that I kind of know like how to position my shadow on the top. So today I'm going to start underneath my eye. So I'm just going to run this shadow all the way under my eye and smoke it up quite a bit. This is going to be my transition shade, like I said, so I do want to make sure that I have room for another shade to deepen this up with and still have this show. If you are going to do a winged out shape on your eye, you really need to not be scared to blow it out underneath your eye because that is really going to pull it all together. And I know it can be a little bit scary if it's not something that you have experimented with or really tried too much, but just bear with me here. So you can see now on the outer corner of my eye, you can kind of see where the underline, where my shadow ends, kind of like where it would follow outwards. So I'm just going to kind of follow this line out. I'm going to take it kind of slow, and I don't want too much of this right away, but don't be scared to wing this out even past your eyebrow if you feel like you have to. Just depends on how much room you have in between your eyebrow and the outer corner of your eye. So I always want to make sure that there is a very rounded line going all the way up here. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to blend right in this area because there is a little bit of a, how would I say this? It's like it goes in. So you kind of have to make sure that you really go in with your brush and make sure that you get that shape like right here, right? You could also go in with a little bit of translucent powder if it makes it easier to clean it up if you get a little bit out of hand. So now that I have like kind of the idea where I'm going, I'm gonna put this shade into my crease as well. I'm just gonna start packing this on kind of low down in my crease where it is that I want it to be. You don't have to worry about connecting it yet, just put down this color and just sort of follow your crease all the way through here. And eventually you are going to be connecting these, but we're gonna work on the blend and angle a little bit as we go here. And just like I did in my other hooded eye video, I do want to make sure that I bring this color high enough up that when I go in with my second shade, that both of these shades are going to show when my eye is open, because creating depth is what's really going to help you make your eye a little bit less hooded than what it really is. So once I've kind of gotten this down very roughly, I'm going to start on the outer edge here and make sure that all of the lines are perfected. So you can see here, it's going down quite a bit, and I do want to really lift this up so that, I don't know, it just gets a nice angle both sides. So it's just going to take a little bit of practice, and you want to use quite a small fluffy brush to do this with. Again, I'm following the shape of my lower lash line up here, and once I feel like I have this far enough out, I'm just going to kind of gently flicker this inwards towards the crease, or towards the hood of my eye, I should say, since I don't really have a crease up there. I'm sure you can relate if you have hooded eyes yourself. So you can just take it kind of slow and make sure that you get the angle that you want on your eyes. Of course, it's going to depend because we all have different eye shapes and we all have very different like outer corners of our eyes. So you can see now it's starting to come together. I do need to blend just a little bit more in the inner portion, and I'm also going to blend this upwards a little bit more just in the middle of my eye. So again, like I said before, the trick with the first shade is to make sure that you blow it out enough that you have room for a second shade so that that can still show all the way around your eyes. So I'm going to dip into my other palette here from Kaleidos. This is the Astro Pink palette. The first one I used was the Escape Pod. If you're unfamiliar with this brand, I will link their site down below. I'll link all of the products that I'm wearing down below, of course. So I'm going to grab the shade here, which I don't know the name of it because I've thrown away the slip, but that is going to be my deepening shade. And depending on how this looks, I might go in with a little bit of black just in the very outer corner after, but I'm gonna start by just packing this in the outer corner of my eye first. Not gonna take it into my crease yet. I just wanna really put down this depth, and then we'll start going in to blend out things after. So once I'm ready to go in and start blending, you can again do what you did first and go in on your lower lash line first. It will help with the angle a little bit because it'll just give you a little bit more precision. So you want to bring this color out into your wing as well and make sure that you can see both of these colors. Like I've said, if you are trying to create that illusion of having a shadow, the way to do that is to make sure that the shadow can be seen. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but it's definitely important to have the darkest color still show all the way around when your eye is open. So you can see now it's really starting to create that depth on my eye that I'm looking for. I'm going to take this all the way underneath my eye. Just making sure I get a good blend between the two colors here. And you just want to take it slow and really work on this blend. Once I'm happy with the outer portion of my lid, I'm going to start bringing this through my crease all the way. And I know I always say this, but using small brushes is honestly like the best advice I can give someone to really start perfecting your eye looks and getting good blends and really being able to place the shadow where it is that you want it to be without the shadow kind of getting out of hand, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of brands that have nice and small blending brushes, and it also depends on just how big your eyes are. Personally, I use my Rephr number 13. I'm sure if you're not new, you know that this is my favorite brush of all time. It's just the perfect size for my little hooded eyes. I know some people find it to be a little bit too small. I know Sigma has really good small blending brushes, maybe look into them. Morphe has a few as well. You don't have to buy like expensive brushes, but the size of the brush as well as the shape of the brush is very important in order to be able to create what it is that you want to create. Because at the end of the day, I mean, doing makeup is art, and you can't do art if you don't have the right equipment to do so, or the right tools, I should say. So I feel like that makes sense. Do I want to do anything else to deepen this up? I think I'm going to leave it here, but I am going to go back in with that first pink shade that I used just to make sure that the blend between all of the colors are looking good.
It was all a big mistake, never meant to miss the date. I was caught up with my friends, I forgot that we had plans. So the roses on the floor and found the champagne by.
So at this point, you can basically put whatever shimmers you want on your lid, just to have at it, have fun. I'm gonna first go into this one in the Kaleidos palette. Gonna spray this with a little bit of Fix Plus just so we get that nice and intense. And I really like the fact that I have a bit of a base down here. So I'm gonna place that over the top of where I put down this purple. And I'm not going to do a cut crease or anything like that. Just gonna keep that on the outer portion of my lid. And I don't really want this shadow to be seen when my eye is open, but I still want to put on as much of this as possible because it is a beautiful shade. So when you look straight ahead now, you can see that you can still not really see that lid shade, which is exactly what I want. So I'm just going to build this up where it is that I want it to be. Just pulling it high enough up in my crease that, like I said, you can't really see it when my eye is open. If you like shimmers in your crease, then go for it. But I find that personally, if I have shimmers above my crease, it kind of defeats the purpose of trying to make your eyes look less hooded, because shimmers is going to bring something forward. And what you want to do is you want to kind of make that illusion of having a shadow in your crease. So when you put a shimmer in your crease, the hood of your eye is really going to be accentuated when the light hits it, and it's going to make it look like you have a hood there. You know what I mean? And then for the front portion of my lid, I think I'm gonna use a little bit of green just because I can and because the shadow is beautiful. So I'm gonna grab this one. This one is called Saturnalia. And again, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna place this low enough down that when my eye is open, you can't really see it, especially in the middle here. Now, in the front portion of my lid isn't as hooded as it is for the rest of my way across, if you wanna call it that. So you are going to see a little bit of this shade in the beginning portion of my lid when my eye is open, because if I'm going to create the shape that I want with my shimmers, I do have to pull it so high up that you can see it in the beginning. So you'll see a little bit of that green. So like I said, if I were to bring the shimmers up as high as I want them to go without them showing in the outer corner of my eye, they will show in the inner corner, just because my eye in the inner corner is not as hooded as it is on the outer portion. And I do feel like that actually kind of helps make my eye look a little bit less hooded too. And I know not everyone's eye shape is the same, and maybe your eye is less hooded in certain spots than others, but you just have to kind of figure out like what it is that works for you. It just takes a little bit of practice and trying out new things, and maybe just looking at different tutorials and stuff like that. So I really like how this is looking. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the blue just to kind of finish off and just make sure that these are nice and blended together. I'm also taking a little bit of that green and just wrapping this down to my lower lash line. This has nothing to do with hooded eyes at all. I just like to do this. I feel like it just kind of ties the look together a little bit more. So it's completely up to you how you want to finish off your eyes. I'm going to do something in my waterline. I think I'm going to do some blue just because I have blue on my lid and I think that could be really fun. So I'm going to use this one from Fenty. This is in the shade Lady Lagoon. It's one of my favorite eyeliners in my collection. I'm also going to do a little bit of liquid liner. I'm not going to make this into a wing. I'm just going to trace my upper lash line. I'm also going to curl my lashes and put on a bunch of mascara, and then we can compare and see what the eyes look like kind of side by side. So this is what the completed eye looks like. Now, I think the difference between the two eyes is absolutely insane. Like, you can really see just how much bigger this eye looks, especially when you have some darker colors in your crease and some lighter shimmers on your lid. It's really going to like open up your eyes and make them look so much bigger than they are. I also find that putting something lighter and contrasting in the waterline also really opens up your eyes. So I would say if you're trying to make your eyes look bigger, maybe skip using black in the waterline because it will close in your eyes a little bit. Maybe try experimenting with something a little bit more bright and colorful. It could even be like just a nude eyeliner or even a white. White looks really cool too, depending on what eyeshadows you use with it. But this is going to be the completed look. I really like how it turned out, and I love doing like winged out shape on my eye shape. I feel like it's just very flattering. So let me go ahead and quickly finish off this eye and we can finish off the video. Both eyes are officially done, and this is the completed look. So let me know how you feel about this tutorial. Let me know what other kind of hooded eye tricks or tutorials that you want to see me do next. I am trying to do more of these because they are so highly requested, and I do want to give you guys the content that you want to see. So I am thinking about doing a half cut crease as well as a full cut crease tutorial for hooded eyes. If you want to see that, let me know. And if there's anything else that maybe you have in mind, and please don't ask me for a how to do winged eyeliner for hooded eyes. I do have one video like that. It's a very big wing tutorial though. If you don't like that, it's not going to be for you. But how to do a everyday wing and just wing the eyeliner for hooded eyes. If your eyes are as hooded as mine, I'm sorry to bring it to you, but honestly, it's just not possible without it looking really wonky and weird, either when your eye is open or when your eye is closed. Winged eyeliner, especially big wings, are just not for us. I know it sucks. It sucks to hear it. It took me forever to like digest it and be okay with it. But like I said, if your eyes are very, very hooded and the fold of your hood extends past your lower lash line, it's just going to be really, really hard, and you're going to end up with something that's not going to look like a regular wing. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, if you want to see some other hooded eye videos that I have on my channel, here is my playlist that's going to get larger, I promise. And if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.